Imeall anocht. Dure, cahar cultúr chabhile sa trídeag. Seoid nua cultúrta de bhéle nátha, agus an scanán úr King of the Travellers. Fáilte chuig an glár déarnach sa tra agus fáilte go dure. Fáilte go Londonderry. Fáilte go dure chulim ciile. Fáilte go cahar cultúr chabhile sa trídeag. Ceirichéad bliana ó hinam bliana a chuireach tús le tógáil bhailí na carach agus scapan siad a feadh kiloméadar go le ar fud a bhaile. Is an ealaíontóir a saolaíoch an nua le héadí Seamus Heaney, Neil Hannon, Phil Coulter, Seamus Dean agus go leor eile, agus bhí tunach ar suntasach a grúpaí a tháinig le chéann sa ar chéal cultúrta in Imeall sa. Táiminn sa le leart le cutas na ealaíontóirí a bheith go ghlacha páirte ina meachtaí na bliana agus le tileáil amach mar ar chéal cultúrta na carach. Derbert hat tú marachtain tim lá cléile blianta fada, sé das fille ar de chéamh an chair.
Tácinn tú agad tamachríostí sa chair seo seán ar rugga mé, thuí mar scoil díirchan sin ar do chúil agus inis tá dúil an mór Róman seo sa chair, si sin beidir snás agus agur ar an tógar mór seo cethar chultúra ga bhíle sa trídéag.
Clár Imeall le camacha go bhínis na méile right dus na buchfuintí agus nuair go tusa súil go mór leo.
Well, na haimachtaí is mó bhfuil sam agamsa an rudí cosfuil le filiú chalam ciile sin sprí mór faoin air agus ar an abhainn gin sin scéal chalam ciile agus cé cheappa sin is de village aráis in ire sa bhliain seo. Agus an áid be fleisiáil na haireann seo, bí lúnasa agus ag dearna bliana be the Turner Prize ag teach go dure agus seán siad úr go dtí seo. Tuairtí sé léargas don phobal lig ar beidir an sínatá sa chair seo ó thaobh na halína agus na físeálainna. Bhíonn scéal ag buint leis na haimachtaí seo, ní hé go dagann siad an seo agus go naíonn siad a céis siad lára géigean agail in inné fásta. Béimiid ag dúirú hana bhain ar na haimachtaí héanaach cé Harlóin in dhéad an méid postanna an cé faoi scéal fashion agus festus agus chuirtí dearthar sa chathair seo mar na shirt factories sin chud lárnach de éireacht tionsclaíocht na chathair seo. Ach go dtí seo tá an tionscail sin le go leor. Tá daoine agus a chathair tá géirí spreadúr chuir seachan.
Bhí dure an áit is mó a bhí a deanú na héadaí na 950. Bhí hard fa 5,000 rá ag obair na monachan seo a deanú na léinse. Obair an crua a bhí an, ach bhí an cracach an. Sna 950 bhí lán daoine seo as US Army as anrad. Agus bhí na mrán seo bhí sé cineal a glic agus chola mé scéal amháin bhí mrá seo. Bhí sacu gur tháinig na léine seo a maith ar fud an dón. Agus go háirithe go dtí na soldiers is anrad, agus bhí na soldiers ag teacht arás. So rud a rinn mrá amháin, chuir sé líne big a get the paper agus chuir sé tíomhtíd an léine agus dúirt sé if you're single, drop a line, but if you're married, never mind. Agus seolú sticky an agus a chud ever an.
Well, Carly bhainnig tá sa seanna bhunacha ina méoch scata ban i déna léintin sa, inis tam faoin tugra bheith ar siúla gotsa.
Tá me sé codú leis an ealaíontóir dar bhain Rita Duffy. Is cinneal ealaíontóir mór rá in Éireann agus sí géirí chur an mon an seo is sean áit a bhí monachan léine an cinneal taismeantas ealaín agus monachan beo fásta buinte leis star na léine agus i tuairt obair de lean mrá nura ealaíontóir agus daoine a dhéanann nach chus léine buinte leis an chathair cultúr.
Agus mar ealaíontóir cara, cad a bhil tusach ag an bhirgadamh sa agus chuig an scéal sa?
Well, an uirí rinn me sé taismeantas ealaín dar a bhain an Valentine experiment agus bhí sin buinte le léine agus buinte le daoine sa chathair a chud grá ar a léine, agus scríomh síos ar get the paper méad daoine a bhí grá acu dóibh agus an sin é a chur léní agus é a haispaint. Agus bunim héin le mo chuidealaín le acharsal agus sílim ggóil an tionscadal seo buinte leis na skillanna a bhí ag na mrá seo agus iad a chuineal beo.
Agus nuair ghfuil ordú céime a thuirt áil ag alíontóirí áitiúla mlíana.
Sin imid tá lán rudí ar hiúil agus tá lán rudí an mún do alíontóra as an cathair seo sílim héin gur caihí tú just tú héana churma agus a rá tá mé abalta seo dhéanú na bhí an nairóirt mar as cathair dorathu bhí broadú as do chuidealaín. Agus sílim héin go mé tar éis coppla bliain tíofamuid na buntáistí a bheith teach amachchas an cathair cultúr seo an bliain seo.
Joe, tell me about your own work here in Derry.
Well, at present I see myself as the city's stylist, fashion man. I'm here as to create events, to create platforms to showcase local design talent, and I also work as a stylist and a designer as well in my own realm. At present I am working for the City of Culture on a personal level, trying to push fashion as one of the main kind of disciplines within the year. We have a great shirt factory heritage here, and I want to see not just about the history of style here, but of course what we're carrying on into the future.
And that history goes way back in terms of, well, not just manufacturing and industry, but fashion as well, and presenting it.
Definitely. We have on part of our historic walls an area called the Grand Parade, and that is seen to be known as the world's first ever catwalk, where back in like the 18th century, women on the Sunday would parade up and down it in their finery. The women would walk in a very feline manner, and their looks towards each other, kind of checking out what each other was wearing, was very cat-like, and they say that's where the term catwalk came from.
You've engaged with that place as well?
Yeah, I brought that back as part of Culture Night a few years ago. I put on a show on the walls and had models and parading local retail work, and that has grown year by year, and now it's the most turned out event as part of the Culture Night calendar.
Is City of Culture giving a platform for creative young people here in Derry?
Absolutely. It's been a massive catalyst in getting people up and out, taking part in things. You know, the great visitors that we've had to the city, the opportunities for young people from any background to meet with, you know, the professionals in the realm or industry which they wish to push forward in, and not just within fashion but within every discipline of arts and culture.
Dreamt a dream of love, and you came true. To hold you in my arms is so divine.
Kirsty, tell me the idea behind Portrait of a City.
So with Portrait of a City, we want to build the largest digital community archive for the city. We're looking for content, anything AV, audiovisual, so we're looking for photographs, film and audio content that help depict the history of the city and everyday life on the city streets from people.
And since the call went out to the public, what's the response been like?
It's been enormous. It's been absolutely fantastic, and we're thrilled with it, to be honest. We're getting a huge amount of negatives. People have never scanned them before that we're getting to see for the first time. Lots of photographs of, say, family holidays and life behind the scenes, family gardens, family parties, and changing city streets as well. But also some of the more interesting stuff we're getting is films. We're getting lots of 8mm and 16mm old cine film as well. So at the minute we're looking at around 100,000 images so far, so it's pretty enormous.
Declan, tell us about the material that's coming in. There's a couple of professional works alongside amateur footage, isn't there?
Yeah, well one project in particular, Picturing Derry exhibition, features works by photojournalists as well as works by photographers locally whose works may have appeared in the local press but they never would have had a national or international profile. It's an opportunity for the city, people in the city, to tell their own story, as opposed to being a city that for so long had photojournalists coming in from the outside making images of the town. So some of that is Troubles related imagery, some of it is images of everyday life that carried on while the Troubles was there as a backdrop.
So how can we see the work?
It will all be online. We're hoping to launch the archive mid-April, and then it'll be online for people to start kind of accessing. This is a digital legacy for the city. Obviously we're only going to be here for this year, but part of what we're doing is we're training community groups and putting content and machinery into libraries to make sure that communities have the skills and the technology they need to keep adding to the archive. Oh no, that's great. We'll be able to digitise these for you. It'll take a wee while because there's quite a lot of them.
I would say so.
It's a real act of generosity, really, isn't it? Bestowing a private collection like this to the city.
People are trusting us with their imagery. I mean, these are their memories and their family history. We're very lucky that people are trusting us to scan them and let us hold them for a little while. But again, it's very generous to give them to the public and let them to see them and kind of access their own memories and their own family stories.
Derry people love their city. They do, no matter what goes on, no matter what happens, they love their city. And looking at the old photographs, it's going to be, you know, they're going to be enamoured, really, by looking at these old photos. It'll be terrific.
Everything to me.
Fáilte Harnash agus fáilte go béal an átha. Bhfuil lenig go doréine a bhíonna siar bhailiú an tamar fad agus nachfuil an éonar den éair a chahabh amach. Bhfuil más plódathe atá an táléir nó an goráiste go duine san, chuirn geal nach féad fi a chur gomráid le Jackie Clark. Fear gnó, mangar éisc agus bailithóir ábhar starúla ba Jackie Clark a cailleach sa bhliain 2000. I gahabh a híl bhailligh sé seanna leabhar, nuachtáin, póstéir, léirscáileanna agus na mílte ábhar eile, agus féin am gur cailleach é bhí breis 100,000 aras starúil bailithe. Bhrun bantrach Jackie, Ann Clark, an bailúcháin ar chorla chun de bhuió sa bhliain 2005, agus an tachtansa osclaíoch dóirse an urgnamhsa le go méid an pobal in an tainneamh a bhaint as an bailúcháin son. Céir bheith Jackie Clark?
Well, before áitiú le fear ón baile seo a rugach a tógach an seo, agus just bhí an simige is star ón na bhí sé na buchail an óg. Go háirithe ón ra sé timpeall dóiag thug sé sims éagsúil I cuasaí stara na hÉireann agus I suppose cuasaí neamhspláchas na hÉireann.
And was Jackie collecting from the day he got married?
Oh, he was collecting long before that. He was collecting since the age of 12. He was at Blackrock College in Dublin, and when the boys went to the rugby matches, he went down the quays buying up books and papers and that. And then he got in contact with dealers selling books, and he would buy books from them. But he would never open them the day he got them. He wouldn't open them until the night after.
And Peter, what's your earliest memory of your father as a collector?
The first item I would have noticed really was the 1916 proclamation, when he would have bought that in the early 90s. When I came into the living room, he just got off the phone and he said, I bought the Holy Grail. And I was looking at him and said, what's the Holy Grail? Explained to me, and it was the 1916 proclamation. As a child, I knew he collected material, but I didn't really know until later in life, when I was a lot older, what he amassed.
We hereby proclaim the Irish Republic as a sovereign, independent state.
After Dad died, Sinead McCool came down. Sinead and I just went through the papers. Sinead initially said she'd have it catalogued in 6 months. 8-9 years later, she's still here. It's good to see an end product. You know, it was a long time coming, and the end product is now, which is going to be officially opened in the next month or so.
When I first came to the collection, my own area of expertise would be 1916. So when I was looking at certain things, I'd be saying, oh, okay, he has a Paget. But his one was nicer than the norm because it's hand painted. But when it ended up being that he had items that nobody else had, it ended up in the realm of something completely exceptional. But it took years to discover the whole revelation of it. And so in many ways, the job that I was given in 2005, which was to select the best of the collection for display, is actually taken 7, nearly 8 years, and we're here now. What you normally have with collectors is you have collectors who collect art and sculpture and fine art. But this is an ordinary man who was actually more interested in the ordinary people of Ireland and what they would have collected. So when he has a 1916 proclamation, he's also collecting proclamations of other sorts.
My own father has an endless collection of books, and my mum's always trying to get rid of some of them. Were you ever tempted to clear out a few of them?
I certainly was patient, because the papers used to go up halfway up the window overlooking O'Reilly Street until he would get them put away in monthly, wrapped with brown paper and tied with a string.
This is how he used to wrap the material, and it was in very good condition, and this would have been an archival technique from as early as the 1950s. So what we discover now is that the brown paper has the same qualities as much more expensive acid-free paper, so he was actually preserving it. And in fact, this one is the only one that I have left unopened, because I felt that I had opened them all, and that so somebody in the future should open this last one.
Bailach an bhfuil siad chuir le chéile anseo tá ábhar, I suppose, tá seomra ag gach ábhar. So seomra seo mar hampla, siad é seoda nó Treasures Jackie Clark atá anseo. Bhí súil an speisialta aige, agus bhí instinct iontach aige le haig an star agus le haig documéid.
Sinna nuachtán go léir ba?
Siad í na nuachtáin, forhór den bailúcháin sé nuachtáin atá. Tá nuachtáin a go le ráis go dtíon 16 tá nuachtáin an lua an seo ar fad. Ní sam cin ceann sin 1791.
Tá meach bailúcháin den tuairsa ag oldschool bheith úna ormsa, ach ag duine ó bháin chunas ar chuir sin bailúcháin sa le chéile.
Well, just bhí sé just díú isteachar, agus a gcónaí bhí sé bhí kind of strátéis aige. Bhí sé gcónaí ag smaoinemh ar an long term. Agus I suppose ar an bailúcháin a thuirt don baile seo, agus don stát.
So is figure freistal dhéanamh ar phobal leathan seachas stairthe áitiúla lucht léin.
Ó, táid. Gátha gasúir agus daoine óga go mbeadh simach ab siúd agus go mbeadh siad spreagtha chun níos mó sim a bheith ab in the cuasaí staire.
What do you think Jackie would think if he saw the collection here today?
Oh, I think he would love it if he were here. He wanted this building and tried to get it in 1996. So now he has it. His books and papers are here to show it.
As a collector, he showed such wisdom, and I think what I feel is his legacy here is that you're influencing another generation to look at material and then to learn more.
Have you started hoarding since you started working on this project?
The opposite. I have been much better about general clearance.
Scéal casta díaltais agus scéal grá a aimid sa scanán uair le Mark O'Connor, King of the Travellers. Scanán a bheith a thospáint I Bicterlin ar fud na tíre ó 19 a Brán Araig. Larimer le Bert the Fríomh Réaltan scanán, Peter Coonan agus John Connors, mar eall ar an scanán sa híoríonn ar an Locht Siúil in Éirden.
I play John Paul Morehouse. John Paul is sort of a troubled character. His father was killed in front of him when he was a kid, and he's kind of haunted by that. A rival family move back into the area where John Paul lives, and he believes that the head of this family killed his father. So in the meantime, he kind of has a bit of a romance with the head of the family's daughter, and he's kind of left with a dilemma whether to exact revenge with the father or follow a romance with the daughter.
you stick with your own people, son. Because without family, you're nothing. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
That's a lot of shite. Settled people never treated me no different in the boxing club. It was you. You used me to settle all your own disputes after me daddy died, and you made money from it. And what did I get, huh? I had to smash me hands to pieces. I can't even fit rings on these fingers, Francis. I had to give up all my dreams of going to the Olympics and going pro. Now I have no life, and it's all down to you. The promoters couldn't do half as bad as what you done to me. And you're my own uncle. I'm 23 now, so I was about 19 or 20 and I started doing courses. It was something I always wanted to do. I love films. I love watching great acting performances. And I said, I'm just going to go for it. I don't care anymore, you know? I'm not going to worry about what anybody else thinks. I heard about this director who was casting real travellers in the Traveller film. So I said, I have sort of an advantage there, having some training done and a real passion for it. Mark, basically, from day one, Mark is very much into his realism, and he's been inspired by directors who use non-actors in, you know, distinctive areas. And basically, from day one, he just wanted 90% of the cast to be travellers, to have that real look. I mean, he workshopped with non-actors. A lot of them couldn't read, a lot of them were illiterate. So what he did is, on the day, he'd get them improvising and get them to say it in their own words, to just add complete realism and authenticity.
A character an anam ná Mickey the Bags, Michael Morehouse. Agus ní an luchsúle an glíomhán for Martin sin é ahar John Paul Morehouse nor bhí sé óg. Agus sin an áit ar tháinig an energy seo, agus an need to be accepted. Agus a gánaí a bheith géirí, you know, den with a shot like caiim with a big trade in the winner, caiim a big trade the anam Martin, the anam dinner, you know. Ag tógáil na beliefs that I look shul, I guess a hogaler who air féin. Nor bhí cuileána ina a géirí íchin a chur they've here though, I guess get on with everyday life. D'oibre mar ar an scanan seo ar feadh bliain roimh chuair chuig shooting, you know. The honey me le Shanwater John Connors feadh like gá heachtain go le sios san halting site agus fi mé caravan cúpla ihe fór agus bhí sé sin ceapas go sin an tábhachtach fechan conas go gánaíonn siad agus bhí Shanwater John bhí si fáiltiúil agus fechan si amach go bhfuil a bhaine sa chlán, you know what I mean? Agus tá gach duine le chéile she into, you know. Tá téimi an with Anna Cosúil Shakespeare like Romeo and Juliet no Hamlet. Like I suppose no tú dullas teach go scalan Cosúil sin no scéal Cosúil seo bantas an nachsúil agus an na naiad atá acu. Tá sé deachar gan brain beag Shakespeare thugáil isteachán.
Who told you? They told me to do it.
King of Travers it's a mix between kind of more old-fashioned Travers and then up-to-date as well. So I'd say it's contemporary, all right. So it tackles a lot of issues like that, like racism, discrimination. Also about travellers now changing from the nomadic group of people into being more settled. So I mean, it tackles more issues within the travelling community as well. And on top of all that, it's a great story. You know, there's a revenge story there. A really passionate revenge story, but also there's a love story, you know. It's very much a mainstream film, but I mean it's totally real and authentic.
Well, sinna goibh ceann na bliain an sahar Imeall agus bhálinn buchas gháil le gachéine a roiinna good scéalta linn a gahaf na strathe. Beg rá Imeall ann an tachtain siachún aráig ina gahamid súlsír ar bhuaig fuintína strathe. Beg Imeall a fill a ríist sa bhór a chidir an dálinn, bunig í súpa sa machtaí alíonn an tairg is go déisih slán.